Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Buongiorno e benvenuti alla nostra conferenza.
Welcome to our conference.
I was just about to say that. Thank you very much. Welcome to the third edition of the Future of Retreading and Recycling Conference at Future Motive Expo and Talks. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you'll find it interesting and rewarding. Thanks also to Future Motive for hosting us today. Before we start, just a few words about what you're going to see today and how this is going to be organised. We're following the format of the previous events that we've had, where we have 6 speakers. Normally we have 3 speakers talking about retreading and 3 talking about tyre recycling. Well, interestingly, there are 4 of the speakers today are really crossover speakers, so what they're talking about will be of interest both to the retreading and the recycling communities, and I think that to a degree illustrates the convergence of retreading and recycling into a subject where we're talking about the role of both retreading and recycling within the circular economy. So we'll have 2 sets of speakers, 3 each. So they will speak for 20 minutes each. So the first 3 speakers are sat on the stage, and if there's time left at the end of the first 3 speakers, I'll put some questions to the floor, and you can ask some questions to the speakers. There may not be time for that though, because we are under a time constraint, because we need to finish today by 5 o'clock, so we can clear the room and change the stage for the Recircle Awards ceremony, which takes place at 5:45. So, and of course you're all invited to come along to that. Just to repeat what I said before, if the first speaker is Stefano Carloni, and he'll be speaking in Italian, so if you don't speak Italian, please download the web app, which is on the door, and then you can have a simultaneous translation in English. Okay, so the other thing before we start, a bit of housekeeping. As far as I'm aware, there's no fire alarm today, so if you hear a fire alarm, it's for real. So please make your way as quickly as you can down the stairs, or alternatively, follow me, because I can assure you I'll be the first out the door if that happens. Okay, so to open the conference then, I'd like to welcome to the stage Stefano Carloni, who is the President of the Italian Retreaders Association, AIRP. Stefano.
Buongiorno a tutti, grazie per la vostra presenza oggi e grazie a David Wilson e a Valley Bridge Media Service per aver riportato a Bologna anche quest'anno i loro eventi internazionali dedicati all'industria della ricostruzione e del riciclo dei pneumatici. Ci eravamo salutati qui lo scorso anno in occasione di Automotive 2022. Oggi ci ritroviamo in occasione di un nuovo evento, il Future Motive, che è interamente dedicato alla transizione energetica ed ecologica e alle innovazioni del settore automotive. Anche qui nella parte espositiva ritroverete degli importanti rappresentanti dell'industria del pneumatico in tutta la sua filiera, ma non è l'esposizione a cui siamo abituati con Automotive. Qui sono in mostra le innovazioni prima dei prodotti, sono in mostra le possibilità che l'industria e le aziende offrono per la mobilità del futuro. Ecco perché in questo contesto, e forse soprattutto in questo contesto, credo che la ricostruzione dei pneumatici sia di casa. Pur con i suoi oltre 80 anni di storia, rappresenta una tecnologia di assoluta importanza per la sostenibilità della mobilità, così come anche tutta la filiera del riciclo e del recupero di materia prima ormai assume un ruolo imprescindibile per chiudere il cerchio dell'economia circolare. Tuttavia, questi due settori, la ricostruzione ed il riciclo, non potranno rispondere alle sfide della transizione ecologica e della nuova mobilità senza una robusta dose di innovazione tecnologica. In un momento in cui lo sviluppo dell'industria dell'automotive vede un'accelerazione senza precedenti nella storia, tutte le tecnologie coinvolte nella filiera sono chiamate a uno sforzo importante, ma con l'obiettivo di stare al passo con i tempi, cioè non tanto con l'obiettivo di stare al passo con i tempi, ma con l'obiettivo di guidare la corsa alla sostenibilità. Ecco quindi che ci ritroviamo oggi per conoscere e condividere delle importanti innovazioni tecnologiche in questi settori. Alcune di queste innovazioni si trovano forse ancora nello stato embrionale e devono raggiungere una piena applicazione, devono ancora definire al 100% le loro possibilità. Credo che quindi questo sia un momento importante di confronto, di condivisione, di discussione, per dare un contributo significativo alla lunga marcia verso il futuro a cui tutti noi siamo chiamati a partecipare. Pertanto, mentre il ruolo delle aziende è quello di lavorare al meglio per contribuire a sviluppare il rispettivo settore, nel nostro piccolo come associazione e come organizzatori di eventi ci sforziamo di sostenere e di dare la massima visibilità possibile a queste iniziative per mantenere alta l'attenzione verso le buone pratiche e per continuare a confrontarci e a rimanere in contatto. Grazie e buon lavoro.
At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to switch everybody over. I'm going to ask the three current speakers to take a seat in the audience, and I'd like the four remaining speakers, that's Riccardo and Enrico, John and Brian, to come and take a seat. Thank you. We're going to carry straight on. So that we can get maximum time to set up the stage for the Recircle Awards afterwards, and also to give you maximum time to have a drink and relax after after we've finished. Okay, so our fourth presenter today is Enrico Fiore, who is the CEO of Truyoins Ltd. How's it pronounced? Yes? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so Enrico's presentation is called Tyre-to-tyre, the true virtuous circle of tyres. So this is about it's just another crossover presentation, really. It's about a new retreading concept developed by Rover Research, about the use of H2O devulcanization technology. Enrico.
Good morning, good afternoon. I want to use for this presentation the real pitch that the CEO of Rover Research done to us about 2 years ago. We are an early stage venture capital. Our headquarters is in Israel, Tel Aviv. We have a branch in UK and in Italy. We support impact startups. Only impact. We work on the steel, slag recycle. We work in the fashion recycle, and we work now in the tire recycle. But we start with the retreating process. Why? Because we understand that in Italy, not only in Italy, in Europe, there is not so much retreating tire. Only 20% a year is a tire that go to retreating. So, what's happened? I'm sorry, this is the slide that we use the CEO. We have a bottle, 100%. full. Drink a little bit. And we go to waste. Why? Because when you use a tire, after 10% or less, you take away. So happen that in the trailers that have a 6 tire at least, you put this. 80% go to produce or energy or other type of powder. But do not come another way in the same tire industry. Why not? We can do the same. Water is the same that I take an apple. Good. And also, you take out 90% of the food. Why? We do not have to waste the things. No. We are a killer technology for the retreating because we present a new concept of the retreating. You can find now what is the traditional retreating system and the rover research retreating system that use a special water jet machine that devulcanize the surface of the tire. And so we can retreat with at least 30% of raw material that we saved. So we save 30% of raw material at least. And you know exactly how is the cost of the rubber. So what's happened? That using our water jet machine technology, we have created some powder. And thank you to John that before talked about the rubber and the process that with Tyre-to-tyre they work. Why? Because, I'm sorry for the gadget. Oh, don't worry. I use there. Because we have this, here's the powder. This is what's happened when we use our water jet. It's dry. And you can use directly in the retreating of your tire. You don't need nothing more. So what's happened? That we start with the retreating technology, and we discover that part of this technology can be used also to recycling the same rubber. So with one process, we have also a great secondary raw material, just ready to use. We just use today in Italy, in a OTR plant, this type of tire dust in at least 15% inside the retreating process. We just develop a type when we can use 50%. And thanks to our partner for the Italian market, that is Cobat, that is a consortium of Tyre, we can push also in the market of the recycling of the end-of-life tire, because what you saw in the video is a container 40 feet. Inside we have all our technology that can work 800 tons a year, so it's good also for a medium, small plant, and can produce more or less 600 tons of tire dust. The other is steel. And this can be used to produce new tire without problem. So you can see in our boat what is the transformation H2O, and this produces power dust, the tire dust, the steel, and we have a 3% of waste. But with this type of process, we have energy saving. We can have an increase in durability of the tools, and we can improve the productivity of the plant anyway. There is some Q&A and QC that we've done with the Italian certificate laboratory, and we are sure that this can be used today. Oh, also, we just used from 2017 in Italy this type of technology, this type of secondary material raw. So I think that we have to try different, and we have to approach with what we call as a VC a second horizon. And I think that in this place, with the different technology that I have saw, and there is a lot of great innovation, I think that can start the second horizon also in the tire industry with a real circularity. A real circularity is when the same material is reused in the same sector, not when you can use this material to burn, to produce energy or other. So you have to use the same material in the same sector. Is what we do in the steel recycling process, is what we use in the fashion process, is what we want to use in the tire sector. Thank you.
Thanks, Enrico. Has anybody got any questions, please? No questions at all? No? Okay. Yeah, everything's clear. Yes. Okay. Thanks very much, Enrico. So now we've seen three different types of tire recycling. There's pyrolysis, there's normal devulcanization, and there's the H2O demolition. So all very interesting. So let's move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Riccardo Giovannotti. We're going to change the subject a little bit now. Riccardo is the Secretary General of the GDSO, which stands for Global Data Service Organization. And Riccardo's presentation is called Beyond Tire Identification. And we're talking about the latest developments in the management of tire data in the process of optimizing the life cycle of the tire. So, Riccardo, thank you very much.
Thank you, David, and grazie to everyone to be here today and for this opportunity, and grazie for being here in Bologna. I hope you may enjoy the food here, and as an Italian guy, I'm pretty proud of that. But beside that, let's say, we heard a lot of very important things up to now. We talk about feedstock, we talk about quality control. We heard about a new horizon as well. Let's try to make a step back first. So let me introduce GDSO first. So GDSO stands for Global Data Service Organization for Tires and Automotive Components. It's an international, non-for-profit organization made of tire manufacturers. As you may see, among our members, there are, let's say, the biggest brand around the world so that we can cover mostly all the world with those kind of premium tires product. But we have also some associates, meaning technical partners like ETRTO, JATMA, TRA, TRAC, USTMA, because we want to be a global player taking into account local input so that we can have really a global approach. And my name is Riccardo for sure. But let's say why GDSO exists. Let me start with this movie. We heard a lot about tire information, about identity and so on. And we know that many critical information and data are stored on the tire, into the tire, but very often it becomes a nightmare to retrieve this information for many different reasons. First of all, because they can just peel on a sticker that can be easily lost, or just because you need some visual check. And it can happen also during the retreading operation. You have to spend time, you have to go there, and possibly you can make some mistakes. It's a stupid one, just reported here, but you know, mistakes may happen, but it's not just a matter of mistake, it's a matter of optimization, delay, and waste of profitability for all those involved in the tire value chain. So the question that we posed was how to solve the problem. And the answer is in GDSO. That means we decided to start providing a unique item identifier, so a serial name to every single tire around the world, and to get it so that it can be serialized, unique, and unfalsifiable. But then the question is still there. How can we try to move from a kind of analogic approach to a digital one, meaning to scan the tire and then let the data flowing back to the user? And the answer that we provide is to use the Tire Information Service. That is our platform. As I was saying, I'm making a step back compared to what we are talking up to now, because really the tire identification is the starting point for optimizing any kind of operation, including the retreaders, but also the end-of-life tire management and so on. So that's what we are talking about. That's the GDSO, the Tire Information Service solution. So what we think is that every players along the tire value chain may get benefit of a data-driven approach. So a tire identity can be captured, GDSO solution can be interrogated, and data can be obtained in a digital way. But how does it work? As I was saying, starting from a serialized approach, so a unique name for every single tire around the world, a passport number is provided, and then it is captured by the user. It's captured, our service is interrogated by the user itself. We provide the information to the user about the tire manufacturer that shall be interrogated, and then the user is going straight forward, in this case, to the tire manufacturer C. So among many different tire manufacturers, it's not the A, B, D, E, it's the C1, where it's going to knock to the door with the token we provide, and then data are flowing back based on a B2B agreement. And really, it doesn't matter if it is a brand new tire or it's a used tire, like in the case of a retailing operation. The target for us is that all this kind of information can be made available along the entire value chain and for all the stakeholders along the tire life. So it's for tire manufacturers, for vehicle manufacturers, for logistic distributors, it's for quality insurance, retreaders for sure, up to the really end of life. So it's a very complex, let's say, environment, but we found a way to make it simple. Don't be scared about the picture. I will not deep dive on that. I usually use this picture to explain what GDSO is not. So try to follow me so that we can then explain what GDSO is. So GDSO is not a central database. As you may see on the sketch, okay, trust me, on the right side of the monitor, you may see the database for every single tire manufacturer around the world. On the left side, bottom side, you may see the user. So GDSO is in between, is a kind of traffic ruler, but we are also the trust center, the one that is saying to the user, it could be a retreader, don't be scared, the information that you're looking for is provided by that specific tire manufacturer, like the tire manufacturer's B in the bottom right side of the sketch. And the tire manufacturer, once he's interrogated, has got the trust on GDSO that the interrogation is made on purpose, is not just a bot, and is not just letting them wasting time. It's really for optimization of different operation and to increase the efficiency. And then data are flowing back. So as I was saying, GDSO is not a centralized database. We have no visibility of the data itself. What we are doing is to claim to be the reference data platform so that we can simplify the data exchange and the, let's say, digitalization in the tire industry for both user and tire manufacturers. And now let me say then what GDSO is and what the tire information is. Possibly you heard now there is a lot of rumors about data spaces in Europe and all around the world. And we claim to be a data space. Why? Because what we provide is an API, so an application programming interface. We're not just going knocking at the door of different users and say, hey guys, you have to use our software because it's better than the others. We say, guys, that's free of charge. It's in an open environment. That's the codes of line you have to implement, and you can retrieve it on our website. We provide a structured list of data, and based on standardization, we grant interoperability. It doesn't matter if it is the tire company A, B, or C. Everyone working with GDSO may let their data be available and flow around along the tire value chain. But also, as I said before, GDSO is not a central database. Data sovereignty still remains into the tire manufacturers. So we have usage policies, we have authorization and authentication rules in place. The last but not the least, as I said before, the GDSO is the one granting trust and security among the parties. So let's say, what's in it for the retreaders and for all of you today? As I said, up to now, I was making a step back, saying that possibly, first of all, we have to identify what is entering into a retreading facility. Why? Because it's a dirty tire. It's something that is not nice to touch, to play with, and digitalization is something that may definitely improve the efficiency of retreading operation, but also for the ELT, for the end-of-life tire management, the improvement of the feedstock quality, for example, because a more homogeneous feedstock can be created, and all the other presenters that you heard up to now, I guess, would be more than happy to have that kind of level. So in a kind of a from cradle to grave approach, others presenters that were here, like Michael, and I see many others in the room, were interviewed by us. And they were answering the question that is very simple, but it's a kind of a $1 million question. What do you need to know from a tire? As soon as you got a tire entering your facility, what would you like to receive as a key information? So based on that, we understood that, let's say usually during the tire life, there are many challenges. Because if we provide a unique identity to the tire, a lot of major events may occur as well. That means the tire can be damaged and then repaired. It can be retreaded. It can be recycled. So that kind of identity shall take into account all these kind of major events so that different players may take into account the history behind the tire, but also the tire manufacturer may perform a life cycle assessment of the tire itself. But again, as we heard before, in the digital environment, cooperation is key. So that's what we did. We were interviewing, we were collaborating, not only among tire manufacturers, but also with retreaders and the end-of-life company, because the target for us was really to try to answer the call together. So I'm pretty happy to tell you that we are working on a new service and solution to cope with the goal. The principles are the following. So the tire manufacturers are still continuing providing data access for the brand new tires. But what we are looking forward is that retreaders and end-of-life tire companies may have an active role as well. So they receive the tire and they start making their operation, let's say in a black box environment as far as GDSO is concerned. But then they have to declare what they did. The tire was repaired, the tire was retreaded, the tire was scrapped, the tire was recycled. Because then, in that way, we can really enrich the data set that we are using. And for example, the first retreader may feed the second retreader as well. And the second retreader may get benefit of that information, as well as end-of-life tire companies. That is mostly the same. We are expecting also end-of-life tire companies to provide their declaration upon their operation on that specific tire. The last but not the least, GDSO, again, and once and for all, to still act as a trust and security party so that we can really simplify, standardize the sharing of data along the different stakeholders that may get benefit of the digitalization for tires. So this service is not in place yet. We are in a kind of incubator stage. We are starting working on that. And I will be back to Michael and many others to work together. But that's, let's say, the big news I wanted to share with you today. Because as I said, the tire identification is a key point, but it's just a starting point. We need to collaborate. And for the benefit of retreaders, we need also retreaders to play an active role in this system so that you can get benefit in getting data, but also everyone can get benefit in updating the information about tires, talking about the operation that you put in place. And that's it. Fast and furious, I guess.
Thanks, Riccardo. Yeah, anybody, any questions, please? Yes, Michael.
Thanks, Riccardo. I mean, we've been in contact very often, and I hope we will be in the future. But one of the major questions that arises from all the stakeholders in the market, of course, is how fast will this be technology worldwide being present in a certain percentage? So it's worth into a logistical part, into the retreading parts to invest in that, into the reading structure, into the data structure behind it. And what is your approach where this, I would call it external data, which are not hosted by the new tire manufacturer directly, how can it be managed that these tire on a security safety level can be merged to the initial tires, which are data which is provided by the new tire manufacturer? Thanks.
Thank you, Michael, for the two questions, because it's not just one. So to answer the first question, you know, tire industry is not so famous to be very fast, especially for technology implementation. But we have the commitment from the key and biggest tire manufacturer to implement this kind of electronic identification. The scale up requires still some time, but I'm pretty confident that we may see something pretty soon, beside what I would say any tire manufacturer may have as a plan. Because, for example, the European Digital Product Passport within the eco-design for sustainable product regulation may start requiring, as a legal requirement, an electronic identifier for tires starting from 2028, 2030, maybe something like that. So let's say that could be the time span. Is not that far away. And that's the first question. The second question is, without spoiling the solution, as I said, we are in a kind of an incubator stage. The target could be to link every kind of event to the original identity of the tire, so to allow somehow the retreaders and key stakeholders to push the information back to the tire manufacturer, so that the GDSO, again, organization may act as a trusted party, saying, okay, Michael is a trusted party. They can push the information back to the tire company, and that's the database that will be enriched and available over time. Otherwise, the risk is that we may go for a kind of fragmented approach with a database from one side, another one from another one. But that's what we are building, and we will be back to you and by paper again for let's say, collaboration and solving any kind of open point.
Okay, of course we will need to discuss data property.
Yep.
Afterwards. I'm not sure that every retreader wants to have his data being supplied to the new tire manufacturer, but that's a question we're going to solve in the future. Thanks a lot,
Sure.
Riccardo.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay, that's fine then. Thank you very much, Riccardo. That's very helpful. Thank you very much. Cheers.